I'm Cody Lawson, and this is my 2020 Ford Transit. Living the life. This is a 2020 Ford Transit 250 with the high roof and the extended version. I'm 6'2", and I wanted a van that I could stand up comfortably with a floor and a roof in it. With the Ford Transit high roof being the tallest on the market, I knew that was no question. I haven't really done a whole lot to the outside. I did paint the hood, and we're gonna do topography. I don't know if I'm gonna get it wrapped or I might do some sort of like paint pen and then just seal it. But yeah, it's only really external modification that I've done. I did paint the wheels black just to match the hood and the trim. This is my shore power here. And then this is my water fill spot, and then an external quick connect shower. I put this on for showers in the summertime, but I also did it for cleaning the solar up top. Up top I have 400 watts of mega rich solar panels, and then my vent fan. Nothing crazy up top, just my solar and my fan. Let's take a peek inside. So coming in, you're instantly welcomed with this was the same color as the van at one point, but I spray painted it black, and then I put this little grip tape on it just for extra traction coming in. And then our fun little welcome sign. Coming in are two benches that we just recently made. This one's gonna house our toilet, and then this one is gonna be a litter box for our cat Toby. Coming over here, this is our stove, sink, and then our fridge is gonna be on a pull-out drawer right there. I haven't completed it yet, and there's also a plug-in inside there behind that. We got two cabinets. These cabinets I did thrift, so I didn't have to build them, and then I just painted them the same color as the van. And then we have our fun little pin wall that I'm gonna fill up, hopefully. And then we have a bed. It's a little bit smaller than a full-size bed. I went with a memory foam, and I have to sleep from this side to this side. And it isn't ideal, but if you wanted to buy those external bump outs that go right on the side of here, it is a good idea, but they want your left leg and your right arm to purchase those. So I have not done it yet. Maybe one day I will, but they're just so expensive. I think they're like over $1,000 each, and they bump it out a pretty good space, probably 5 inches on both sides. But I just cannot justify it. I'll sleep sideways if it's gonna cost me $2,000, you know what I mean? I went with a pure memory foam mattress off of Amazon. I ended up cutting the external off of it, like the thicker sheet that comes around it, and then I just trimmed it down to the shape I needed, and then I just threw another sheet on top. That's what our bed is for now. This cabinet just clothes and stuff, but for now it's just holding all of our extra gear, our battery bank, fan, some lights. Here's the switch panel. This powers this one does this right here. This one powers the lights, and then this one is the water. This tabletop extends out for some more cooking space. And then all of these cabinet doors are also made out of the same wood. It's redwood from Home Depot. I think it was like $80 a sheet, not too bad. And it ended up doing this whole setup, the 2 lids for this, and the tabletop for this, and I think it was 2 sheets is all it took, so it wasn't horrible. So this is my sink setup. I have just the normal sink, and then we're a little bit questionable about the water that we're picking up, I also put in a filter. This is what that filter looks like. It's just a water drop off of Amazon. This is our setup. This, when we fill it up, we can attach one end of the hose from where we're getting the water from and then let it drain into the outside spigot that I was showing you guys earlier. And then this is just like an external filter. So in these cabinets, it's not a whole lot right now. This one is probably going to be used for pots and pans and silverware and stuff. None of them have any pull-out drawers. This one will probably be used for maybe the trash can, some of the bigger stuff that can go into the kitchen. This one is, like you guys have seen, this is all the sink stuff. This one is just a long empty one. I was thinking about maybe putting in a some sort of thing you can just bolt to the sides, and then it's like a little metal rack pull-out drawer, but we'll see what happens with that. This one is just another empty one. We'll probably use this one for our toiletries. And then this one houses the propane tank. I still have to seal this door and put some sort of latch on it because I know that they're supposed to be airtight with a vent out the bottom. So I'm definitely going to do that at some point. Just haven't got to it yet. So I think this is probably going to be our pantry most of all. This will hold all of our food, all of our drinks, and then all of the cleaning and wipes and toilet paper and paper towels will get stuffed in the bottom, just because it's kind of harder to access. So my fridge, as you can imagine, will be on like a pull-out drawer, more like that. But this is the Set Power fridge. Got it on Amazon, and it actually works great. It freezes stuff solid, so that'll be really nice for in the summertime. Keep all of our drinks and our food nice and cold as we go through the hot mountains and stuff. This cabinet down here houses all of our extra tools. This has all of our sockets, screwdriver, anything we would ever need in order to repair the van on the road. You're not always going to have access to all the things you need, so not that you need to bring every single thing that you could ever imagine that would go wrong, but just having the basic screwdrivers, sockets, a razor knife, things like that are going to be very important. After going camping a couple times in the van after it's been built, some of the things that I think are way more important than you might think are traction boards, a shovel, like things to get you unstuck, because even the slightest little rainstorm could just destroy your camp. It could make everything to mud, and these vans are not very known to be like off-roading, so having that is really important. And also having something to charge your battery and inflate and deflate your tires will also really help. So I don't have that yet, but that's next on my list to get. This cabinet just kind of holds all of our, there's not a whole lot in there right now, but our plates, our bowls, our cups, our coffee cup, our coffee maker. So it'll hold all the cooking and coffee utensils. If you can imagine with this, it's going to be a little cassette toilet that's going to pull out, and it's probably going to be maybe the same thickness as the actual seat. And then this will obviously be put down. And then can you imagine the scenery? I mean, come on. Like, does it get any better than this? So down here is my gauge for my solar. So right now my batteries are at 99%, just because my DC to DC charger, when I drove up to my spot, charged them pretty good. So, and then this is my just on and off button for my inverter. So I just click on that, it'll turn it on. Let's run around the back and I'll show you guys the water and electricity. So my water and electricity cabinets are an absolute mess right now. I have to do a lot of wire management, and I want to maybe move some stuff around just to clean it up a bit. I'm just not super satisfied with how it looks. So this is my inverter. This is my charge controller, my batteries, and then you could kind of see my DC to DC charger over there. That brings in power from the vehicle's battery. So when you drive, it's also charging the system, along with you can see the breaker there. That brings in the power from the solar into the controller, which regulates it a little bit, and then it sends it into the system. These are the bus bars that all the power and neutrals run into, and then all of that runs in. These are the cables that power the whole van. Then all of those run into the AC and DC breaker box. You can see there, only got a couple things in right now. Yeah, there's that. And then I have a 35-gallon fresh water tank with a spare propane tank if I ever need it. So when I started this build, I wanted to have a hot water tank in it, or hot water heater. And I ended up buying a Camplux propane one that just is tankless. And later on, I found out that they need a lot of ventilation to actually work. I should have done a little bit more research. So I think what we'll end up going to do is potentially find a way to close this and this side, those insides off, and then run a curtain right here. And then that Camplux propane heater I was telling you about, I'm going to hang it right there, and then run it to that little propane tank I was showing you, and then put another little shower box here that runs straight into the system. So a couple things that I would have done differently. The biggest thing I would have done differently was when I mounted the solar on top, I just directly self-tapped them into the roof. And I didn't really I did put a sealer underneath of it, but it was just like some cheap silicone, and I really didn't do enough research on it. And that was like one of my biggest regrets, because I had a lot of leaks when I first water tested it. I guess what I'm trying to say is, if I was to recommend one thing on someone building their van, is to buy a roof rack that mounts to your factory bolts up top, because every van has factory mounting points, and you could buy roof racks that just bolt right on, and then you can bolt your solar to that. Once I found that out, I was like, oh my God, I should have thought that from the very beginning. But I mean, it's all part of the process. You live and you learn. And if I ever do build out another van, I'll do that, obviously. But if I could just recommend one thing to people, because I've seen a lot of people do it, it's just buy a roof rack and mount your solar to your roof rack, because you'll save so much time with trying to battle leaks. I ended up having to take my solar all the way off. I used to work in telecommunications, so we had these things that we would wrap around our fittings. It's like a roll of like really thick rubber that's like sticky. So I ended up putting it under each of the mounting points, and then drilling holes through the self-tapper holes, and then using a bolt so I can tighten it down, and it kind of worked as like a gasket. And after I did that, it did work really good. I haven't had any issues yet. But yeah, if you're building a van, buy a roof rack that fits on your van and mount it to that. Another thing I would have done differently is the roof. So originally I was gonna do tongue and groove cedar, but if you know anything about the transit vans, you know that this part of the roof slopes down really fast and is like a really weird angle. And it makes it really hard to make it look good when it's thick wood, or at least I've had that experience when I tried, just because the wood doesn't want to bend with the curve as well. So I ended up going with a thinner plywood. I can't remember exactly what it is, but just like a pretty thin piece of plywood. And I'm not satisfied with how it looks, because you can see the bolts. So I think I'm going to end up doing is taking the lights off, or just letting them hang, and then I'll pop up a visual. Home Depot has these panels. It looks like kind of like little slats, but I'm gonna end up taking the lights off and putting that up, because I think that'll give me the same effect as running like real boards down, and it'll make it look a lot longer in here. And I think it'll add some depth to the roof, which would be nice, because right now everything kind of seems the same, mostly because it's not finished. Like I'm gonna have some backsplash on behind the counter, and then on this wall is gonna be like a retro-y painted lines, kind of like the vintagey van campers. So we're gonna paint that. It's gonna be like brown, orange, and yellow. So another thing when I was building this van out is that I wasn't expecting is for the walls to not line up correctly. I did put slats on the whole entire thing, so I have something to drill into. But I ended up putting thicker ones where I knew that the tube or the plywood was gonna meet. But if you can see here, every single one of them ended up cracking. And I think what I'm gonna do is maybe get like a 1x2 and just run them along those. I don't think it'll look bad just because I can use that same piece of wood as trim for up top. So believe it or not, I mean, looking at this, it looks very similar to an Amazon van, right? So this used to be an Amazon van, and there used to be a step right here, the same step that's right here. I'll show you. So this step, there also used to be another one right here, and I think the steps really make it look like an Amazon van. And I've been trying to find something that can, I know you have to buy a bumper and then a cover, so I've been searching for that. I haven't had the best of luck, so if anybody knows how to get rid of that and put an actual one on, please let me know, because it is nice to stand on when you have to go to the bathroom in the morning. You can just open the back doors and go, but it hurts your feet a lot, and it just looks ugly. Next thing on my list as well is I want to get some new wheels. These wheels are nice, but as you can imagine, being an Amazon rig, they're not meant for this type of camping. Like, these roads are gonna tear them up, and they've done pretty good so far. We haven't got stuck a single time. We've almost got stuck when we went to Crater Lake just because of the snow, but they've done good in the mud, and I really haven't had any complaints about them quite yet. But I know once they get more bald, they're just going to be more of an issue, and it would be nice to have some beefier tread tires, just something that will ease my mind a little bit when we're on those really thick trails. But I mean, with how tall this van is, we're pretty limited on our trails that we can go on, but just cannot sacrifice any headspace, because I didn't want to be walking around the van like this the whole time with my head down. In this van is just a gas motor. It has 72,000 miles, so it's fairly just being broken in. I'm not really worried about that. I think that this van will be super reliable for us. The reason that I picked the Ford Transit over the ProMaster or the Sprinter, the Mercedes Sprinter, is just because, for one, the ProMaster is known to have problems. I do not trust Dodge at anything, but the Mercedes Sprinter, shoot, I would have loved to have one of those, but the Mercedes Sprinter costs way more, probably double the price of this. And if anything ever goes bad on it, you have to take it to a registered dealer. You can't just take it to anybody. This I can take to any Ford dealership across the country. One of the problems I had when I was working on the van is I don't live anywhere with tools. So I live in an apartment, and all my tools are at my parents' over an hour away. So I can only work on it when I don't have anything to do for basically the whole day. So it took me from December to now, which honestly isn't a horrible time frame. I wanted to get it done before summer just because I have some pretty big trip planned. I think that's gonna do it for my van tour. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any recommendations or things you might think that would look good in the van, please drop it in the comments. I'm open to any sort of recommendation, and I love hearing other people and how what they would do it in my situation. So that would be sick if you guys could leave a few comments about that. And yeah, just thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to watch my videos. It really means a lot. I'm super pumped as you guys watch my last video about the things that are going to be ahead of me. And the next time you guys will see me will be me and my girlfriend going to Canada. So look out for that video. That'll be here in the next week or week and a half or so. So keep your eyes out for that, and thank you guys so much.